Within reason, I guess.
I mean, oh, there it is, the Tara Show music. It means the show is starting now. Tara and Tara have lots to talk about. It's the Tara Show today. Hey, everybody, thanks for being here.
Not
Oh,
confront.
I finally scared Duke off of my lap. God, my cat Duke just would not leave me alone this morning. But I guess my singing scared him off. All right, cool. Hey,
Don't
everybody.
scare off the audience, please. With the singing.
It's Independence Day Eve. I'm wearing my USA shirt. We'll get to that in a second. But for everyone, I want to say a very heartfelt thank you to everyone who contributed to the Tara's Tooth Fund and sent me good wishes. I had a tooth pulled right up here on Tuesday, and I'm here on Thursday. That is how devoted to our democracy I am, my friends. Yes, I am. I'm also very grateful for pain medication. Pain medication is a delight when you're in pain, but I don't want to do it anymore. It gives you a hangover. I don't like the hangover from pain medication, but I'm grateful for the Obamacare that I still have, which gives me free prescriptions, yet not free dental care. That's okay. That's okay. Reminder,
That's,
everyone,
America for
if
you.
it's
Yep.
right, if it's been a minute since you've seen your dentist, I encourage you to make an appointment. Learn from me. All right. Hey, Devlin,
Yeah.
what's up?
Well,
How mad are you today
I'm
about the big bullshit bill?
I'm very infuriated, like nobody's ever seen.
The likes of which?
No one has ever
How
seen.
mad? Here's the question. How mad does it make you to know that Donald Trump had no idea that this bill would like demolish Medicaid? He
Because
literally says on he's like, it is? It will? Really?
they're so full of shit, all of them, and none of them read the bill. They don't give a shit. They're all like wheeling and dealing for their own districts now. And I want to say that I was, like you, calling people this morning, calling Republicans, because what
Yes.
else you got to do? You can't. The Democrats are doing the right thing.
They're
Of
doing
course.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in New York, I was looking at the New York the Republicans who were voting for this piece of shit, and
Mm-hmm.
they're some of them are voting for it because they're all getting things. They like Lisa
Sure.
Murkowski got her, and I'll get into that in a second,
Mm-hmm.
but they were saying that they got the SALT deduction, state and local tax deduction. They
Mm-hmm.
got a SALT deduction um, increase, all right, for their constituents. That's the trade. That's the deal with the devil they got. But as I said to the persons on the phones that and when they picked up, some of them did. I said,
Right.
well, that's the SALT deduction that Obama gave us and that Trump took away in 2017. So now they're giving you a little bit back, just a little bit for wealthy homes in Long Island. What is
That's
that going to do?
great.
And of
That's
course,
awesome.
telling their constituents they're doing something for them, while they're taking it away. It's the same thing with no tax on tips. That bullshit is driving me mad. I see it all over Twitter. That's what they're fighting
Yep.
about. And the maggots on Twitter and whatnot are like, well, no tax on tips. This is great, and blah blah. And they're all touting what a wonderful thing for the working class that is. Now, who works on tips? Not everybody works on tips, for one thing.
It's
But
like,
yeah, you just don't. A lot of people who work on tips don't. You're not declaring that income. Your people just put that in their pocket for this. They're talking about the
only if
tips.
they're cash tips, by the way.
Yes,
If you
cash
tip,
tips. Uh huh.
that's why as someone who worked in the service industry for longer than I care to have worked in the service industry, what I can tell you is it's always better to tip in cash
Yeah.
because then they can pocket it and bank it without claiming it.
Exactly.
And for other people, a lot of people I don't think know that people who work in the service industry aren't actually paid the full
Yeah.
minimum wage because the assumption is that tips
Right.
will
You're,
make up for the balance
which is
of
so
what the minimum wage
disgusting.
would provide, which is not true.
Yeah.
It's not true. You
If you're
will
sitting
not like
around, I
yeah,
mean,
no, if your restaurant isn't turning tables, if you're not doing 3 turns per shift, you're not going to make that kind of money, or at least 2 turns per table. And so, like, if you watch The Bear,
I do.
if you worked in a restaurant like that, where they don't, like, great, those tips would be amazing, only if they were in cash, though. So if you didn't know that, friends in the chat room, just, I would say if you're a person who goes out to Starbucks a lot or goes out and buys coffee a lot, maybe you hit your local diner or whatever, make sure you always have a wad of singles in your pocket, because they'll appreciate that, and you'll get so much better service, and eventually they'll remember that's the good tipper. So that person will get a good table, that person will get great service, and that's how people take care of each other. That's another way to get people to take care of each other. But yeah, like the basic line when I was calling Republicans this week was, why do you want to kill your own constituents? Because then they can't vote to reelect you.
People are saying,
I mean, it's not like I talked to them, right? I mean, I talked to people who answered their phone. And for the most part, there were young men answering their phones. And I was very direct with them. And I was actually pretty kind, and I took sort of a maternal tone to my voice. I'm hearing a weird sound,
somebody,
like
wind. It's fine. Just keep going. And I'm
Okay,
trying
anyway.
to do my mic here.
We're all good. Okay. Oh, that's you. Okay. So, like, I called one of them today, and so there's a Republican representative in Oregon named Cliff Bentz, Bentz, and all Oregonians have been encouraged to call him to ask him to vote no on the big bullshit bill. And I live in Oregon, so I made a call. And the young man who answered his phone, I asked a question, like, why is he doing, is his vote going to be yes, and why? And he's like, I was like, let me just stop you. Can you just please tell Cliff Bentz that as an Oregonian, and I gave my zip code, that I don't want to die for Donald Trump, and no one should. And that is what's going to happen. You're going to die for Donald Trump. Your family's going to die for Donald Trump. Kids are going to starve to death for Donald Trump. You, sir, who is answering this phone right now, your boss is voting to make sure that your family will lose benefits, you specifically. So I would encourage you to quit and go work for a Democrat.
Well, that's good. And they're celebrating it. That's what's so repugnant about the whole thing. They're celebrating
it's all about
this.
owning the list.
Yeah, on July 4th, having a big fucking party to celebrate the end of food assistance. Now, this is what's going away. It slashes Medicaid funding by $1 trillion, reducing enrollment by over 10 million people. It imposes worker crime. I mean, all the fucking bullshit, right? Restricts state funding mechanisms, and could basically lead to the collapse of Medicare and Medicaid in several states. So these change, and also this is why rural hospitals are going away, because they're losing their funding. They're losing their staffing. Okay, so
and you know who said that was bad? Sorry to interrupt you. Do you know who said that was bad? Live on camera?
I'm sure one of these.
Hawley.
Yeah.
Josh Hawley.
Did he vote for it? Yeah, right.
Of course he did.
They all said that, and they all cried on, for example, Chip Roy whining and crying on the House floor, then complaining to his fellow Republicans that almost as if he had to vote for this. Like, it was like air just breathing, and it was your lungs going in and out, collecting air, and it's like, you have a fucking choice here, honey. And they have no courage. Apparently the baboon called them in the middle of the night. He brought them to the White House. He slapped their backs. He gave them some fucking signed pieces of shit, probably his cologne.
He's not going to deliver on.
But he gave them, autographs. He gave them memorabilia. He probably gave them some of his, his swag.
Big fucking deal. What does that do?
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Healthier?
Yeah, that's all it takes. But that's what I mean. Every time, it is so heartbreaking that, and this has to. This is not a political. It's not even political. It's just reality. That every time Republicans get power, They kill people. They kick people off of health care. They make things more expensive. They make the daily, the cold arithmetic of survival, they make it harder for families to meet their needs. And all they're doing, what they're doing is turning the American people nothing but hosts from which to suck profit and discard. That's what they are doing, and these are fucking parasites,
right.
and we should
right.
call them that, really, because
Yes,
that's what they are.
absolutely. And a reminder that if it weren't for blue states, red states would be fully bankrupt.
Oh, yeah.
They based.
Oh, that's the
So-
other thing. Yeah, that's the other. I just
Right,
want to
right.
one point because of what you're saying, and I did a thing about Lisa Murkowski's. I don't know if you saw her getting staring down
I
a
saw
reporter. She stared
was
down the reporter for like 10 seconds. Yeah, I guess she was trying to figure out where am I going with this? Am I going to play the anger game, or am I going
You're going to hell
what's
with
the
this,
what's the
Lisa. That's
angle
where
on
you're
this?
going.
And the fact is, and I wrote a thing over at the Political Voices Network Substack, that Lisa Murkowski's Alaska is the most federally dependent welfare queen state in the country. I mean, they're all red states. Yeah, but fucking Alaska is the worst. For every dollar that it puts into the treasury, it gets $2.60 and up to $3. It fluctuates. So, and that's the thanks that we get for helping for this United States thingy that seems to go over their heads because they got theirs. Sucks to be you is the Republican way. Take whatever I can get, and everybody else can go pound sand. This is what they have done to us, and it's to the point. I mean, we were just going to pay our taxes, and it'll just be funneled into Elon Musk's pockets and his ilk, because that's what it is. I mean, it's this is the system that the founders fought a revolution to escape. And I mean, I'm a big proponent, or not proponent. I mean, I'm just a history buff, and I think about the Roman Empire, right? And in the Bible, Paul, he was a Roman citizen. There are parts in the Bible where he's under arrest and he's writing letters. I'm a Roman citizen. I shouldn't be treated like this. And because there's a certain set of expectations that come with citizenship. And one you would think would be that we have a level of safety and security in the richest country on earth. Right. Where
We do when Democrats are in the White House. That's when we have it. We don't have it when Republicans are in power, because Republicans are more concerned about putting all of that into their own pockets than giving it to the American people. So it's always about profit over people when Democrats are about people over profit. And we prove it all the time. And not only do Republicans cause all of the things that you already said, but every time a Republican is elected, we go to war in the Middle East and the dollar loses value globally. It happens every time, and it has already happened. And so we are losing all of our status in the world, and it's astonishing. Yes, I'm sitting here wearing a USA shirt the day before America's birthday, because I'm seeing a lot of negativity from our side as far as, we don't have anything to celebrate. We don't have enough. I didn't say you have to celebrate. I said you had to fight. We are fighting for our country. We are fighting for this country. Democracy is worth fighting for. And if you don't believe that, then you're probably not watching the show. If you don't think our democracy is worth fighting for, I don't even want to know you, because this is what, no one's coming to save us. There's no deus ex machina who's going to show up. France isn't going to send a fleet.
Not this time.
Isn't the Revolutionary War. We're not going to get that, right? We're going to have to save ourselves. We're going to have to be back out in the streets tomorrow. There are organized protests in all 50 states again tomorrow. I want people to show up for our country and show the world that we're not bowing to fascism. We're not bending to Donald Trump. We're not CBS handing him $16 million. We're not, the weakness that is the Republican Party letting him control us. This is our country. They don't have any sort of ownership on the word patriotism, and they have not trademarked the flag. Our country, our flag, our democracy, and we have to fucking fight for it. And that is that. I have a hole in my head because I got a tooth pulled the other day, and I'm not 100% me. I'm still going to be fucking out there tomorrow. Because what happens if we're not? What happens if we don't?
Right.
What happens if we don't fight back? What happens if we don't make the phone calls and we demand better? Why would we roll over and just let it happen? You can't do that. Not when alligator Auschwitz is already welcoming its first occupants. I mean, how many days before we find out that the occupants of alligator Auschwitz have been given tattoos so that we know who they are?
I wouldn't. Hey, don't put it past them. This is what they do. This is just when you think that they can't get any worse. But that because the reason what you're just saying, rings true. Not that they've done it yet. Because in every Republican chest beats the heart of fascism. And they will do it because this is who they are. These are the ideas they come up with. It's not like, there are no new ideas in fascism. It's all the same shit. So, yeah, I wouldn't put it past them, especially with Stephen Miller. I mean, oh my God.
And yet they're all on Twitter, like complaining about this, that, or the other thing. And so, we're making last minute calls because there are people Republicans in the House who last night voted no. And then Trump was like, but I'll give you this watch. And then today they might be a yes. Yeah. And I'm talking to you, Thomas Massie. Can you fucking pick a lane? Because Massie has been one of the few who stood up and spoke out against the big bullshit bill. But then last night something happened, and today he's like, maybe?
It's incredible.
So what, it's unreal. It is unreal.
The cowardice.
That we only need 4 Republicans to vote to kill this bill in the House. 4 of them. Now, we know Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke out against this bill, but she's probably into it now. She's probably got some sort of kickback. But again, I would hope that every single American would pick up a phone and call these people and be like, hi, I don't want to die. That's what I said when I made phone calls today. I was like, I don't know about you, guy answering this phone, but I don't care to die anytime soon because you're taking away my health care. I don't want to know that babies are dying because their moms can't afford to buy formula because you took away their SNAP benefits. It's unconscionable. And I also try to keep reminding people, and we've said this repeatedly on the Tara Show, is that the United States government isn't supposed to take anything away from us. The only thing they're supposed to take is our taxes, which they then turn around and put back into our country to take care of us. So we're all in it together, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union.
Right.
And they are not providing for the common defense. They are definitely not promoting the general welfare. They are violating their oaths to the Constitution, is what they're doing. Call it what it is on their face. Like, I call you a traitor because you're standing there on the Senate floor in defiance of the Constitution. That's treason. That is straightforward, straight up. You don't want to follow the Constitution, then fucking quit.
Right.
Andy Ogles. Oh God, Andy Ogles is a really bad one. Not only is he a traitor to the United States, but he wants to have Mamdani deported because he's melanated. So,
well, they were all flipping out about him because if the government promotes the general welfare, if it actually tries to meet the needs of its citizens, then that's communism. That's socialism. That's a horror. That's not American. It's a bridge too far. We can't handle it. Trump already said that if Mamdani is elected, that he will strip New York of all funding and New York will be a rogue state. I mean, go fucking pound sand, baboon.
He has a personal vendetta against New York.
Well, yeah.
He's beloved in New York, and
we hate him.
Not.
He's hated here, universally.
The main boroughs.
For the most part.
The islands, Staten and Long, do have their Trumpy enclaves.
Yes, they do.
But, I mean, my brother lives on Long Island. I know he and his wife didn't vote for Trump, but I think her brother did. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is he is reviled in Manhattan. He is very much
because to know him is to hate him. Exactly. And
And
yeah, I mean, if the whole point, if, I mean, if, what's the saying? A budget is a moral document. This proves that the Republicans have no morals, that this is an immoral
never did.
party. Yeah, they never. And to me, we could all see it, of course. We could see it.
Yeah.
That's why it's always fascinating to me, like, or astonishing. I don't get it.
Yeah.
How anybody doesn't see it. So what's wrong with you?
Right.
What's wrong with your filter seeing
Right.
this fucking show of this
Exactly,
fake, this fake
a lot of
patriotism.
it is a show.
Mm-hmm.
So
The whole thing. I mean, the whole thing is performative. Everything. They're from their Christianity to their patriotism.
It truly is. It truly is, and you know this to be true because every time one of us gets trolled on Twitter and you go check the account, the very first word is what?
Yes, Christian. Oh,
Fucking
of
hypocrites.
course. Yep.
Hypocrites,
Yep.
right? And they like to call us the party of violence when we're not, and then they act like delicate snowflakes if we dare use a swear. So yesterday I called for the very first time. I called Anna Paulina Luna's office.
Oh, Lord.
Because she's one of these, like, she's cuckoo bananas, MAGA cult. We all know that. But then she got mad about the rule that Mike Johnson wanted to implement in the House that everybody had to be present to vote because she had just had a baby and she couldn't make back. So, of course, everything's fine until it affects them personally, right? So she was saying some shit on Twitter, as usual, about the big, beautiful bill, quote unquote, which we all call the big bullshit bill. And I was like, okay, let me call her office and see what's what. And so I called her office first. And I called her office one time, and a gentleman person answered. And I said, yes, I would like to know what Representative Luna's favorite part of the big bullshit bill is. Is it killing children and starving them to death, or taking away Medicaid? And he hung up on me. He hung up on me without responding. And then I called back. And then a woman person answered the phone. I was like, I'm so sorry. I should have identified myself as a member of the independent media. And then I asked her the very same question.
And what did she say?
And she said, I said, and so what is the take on the big bullshit bill? She goes, we don't allow profanity in this office.
She's so delicate. Her delicate ears. We don't allow profanity in this office, except their fucking baboon. Yeah, just said they don't know what they're fucking doing. But and they do allow they do allow the baboon to what did he do? Mimic fellatio on a microphone. That's a classic. Oh God.
So what did I do? Because I'm stubborn, I called back a third time. And guess what? It went to voicemail that time. Weird. So I left a lengthy voicemail
Cowards.
saying, hey, delicate MAGA snowflakes. Donald Trump says that so-and-so didn't know what the fuck they were doing, and you were fine with that, you fucking Trumpocrats. So I just, I kept going on. Every other word I said was fuck. It was delightful. Really. It was a really cathartic, delightful experience. And I said, none of what I just said is profanity. Donald Trump is the profanity.
Yeah.
Supporting the deaths of millions of Americans is the profanity, not the F word.
Yeah, and calling it a success and saying it's wonderful. And I just saw
beautiful.
Yeah, calling it beautiful. Calling death and starvation and just cutting lifelines, firing more people will lose their job. I mean, it's just it's so devastating for so many communities, for the entire country. I mean, let's stop with
literally every American
single
who isn't a gazillionaire.
Yeah.
Is who it's going to hurt.
Well, it's all of us. Yeah, it's all of us. Everyone will feel the sting of the lash of these policies. This is what Republicans do. We're all in this together, and the Republicans have very successfully, I guess, divided us, where they have people so nervous and so, living check to check now. And the thing is, it's been going on for a long time that the majority of the American people, for the first time, this happened in the first maladministration. What was it? That the middle class slipped below 50% of the population. This didn't even get a blip on corporate media. Yeah. And when they shut down the government numerous times, and I would talk about it on my show, all the time because it was frustrating that the corporate media would report it like it's normal for an American worker to miss one paycheck and have to rely on a food bank to get by. That's not middle class.
And the food banks are in trouble.
Right.
The food banks will be in trouble because of the big bullshit bill.
Exactly.
The other bullshit line that we're seeing around the big bullshit bill from Republicans is that they somehow have gotten it into their minds, or they have decided that a perfect line of bullshit for this is that somewhere in America, an able-bodied, the phrase able-bodied keeps coming up, right? An able-bodied 29-year-old or an able-bodied 35-year-old sitting on their mom's couch playing video games shouldn't benefit from Medicaid. That's not who's trying to get Medicaid.
That's exactly.
You fucking assholes.
But this is them dividing.
To survive.
Yeah, this is what they do.
I understand that. Using that ableist line of bullshit
sitting
is
around, playing video games.
Who's doing that? That's not a thing. Just like the welfare queen really wasn't a thing. Ronald Reagan totally made that up.
Of course.
Fuck you, Ronald Reagan. Fuck you in the grave. And I hope that your bones are still being gnawed by the worst possible disgusting parasites, because the
Rush
welfare
Limbaugh's
queen
down there
narrative,
too. Yeah.
Well, by the way, Jimmy Swaggart died.
Yeah, well, thank God.
Satan's like, fuck that, I don't even want him. So, as evil dies, it still rises. Someone else is always going to rise in their place. Someone like a Stu Peters who wants all of the Jews dead. Someone like that. But back to the original point, which is using an ableist line is so on brand for the MAGA cult, but it's really vile when you see the new GOP chairwoman doing it on Fox News. And I don't know if anybody knows this, but there's a new GOP chairwoman. It's not Ronna Romney anymore. It's Lisa McClain. And so Lisa McClain is on with Maria. I think it was with Maria Bartiromo. I don't know. But she's like, it's going to be so great.
Oh, God.
And all of those able-bodied 29-year-olds are going to have to get up and get a job.
Fuck you.
Really? Where are they going to get a job when you're, where? You're cutting that too. And they think that they did something because something like 180,000 new jobs were added, but I think it was because they had to replace all of the people they deported. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't even match Joe Biden's jobs record.
No, it's
and he
still
never will.
Slow. Mm-hmm.
He will never match Joe Biden's record on anything. Ever. Ever, ever, never. You'll never have a better economy than Joe Biden. You're never going to have a better inflation rate. You're never going to have a better employment number or a better unemployment number. You are never.
You'll just blame Joe Biden for his failures, though. That's the irony.
What
and
failures?
The maggots will... No, I'm talking about Trump's failures.
No,
he'll just say, oh, well, I see what you're saying. But he'll just blame him and say, oh, well, this is because Biden. It was just so terrible under Biden. And the fucking corporate media will sit there and never challenge him. In fact, it's just this is the abomination. They act like this. That's the other thing that really annoyed me about the whole process was they were giving us the stats rather than the stakes. They were just doing the bean counting. Does he have enough votes or doesn't he? And there he is taking a victory lap. Here's Speaker Johnson. What do you think? People said we couldn't get it done, but we're doing it and we got it. I told you guys in the media, you said I couldn't do it, but here I am doing it. Doing what?
What are you doing? He's protecting his porn collection is what he's doing.
Well, I mean, they're cutting social programs. And also, what's happening, they are also giving, I think it's over I'm trying to remember the exact numbers the budget for ICE is going from...
Oh, my Christ.
Something... I had it down. It was like $3 trillion. Ain't no chump change. To 400 and something trillion. Okay, so what they're doing,
they can just increase the debt.
No, of course, but they're setting up a police state. That's what they're doing. So when really shit hits the fan, that's what they're doing. You know what I mean? When the consequences, when we here who live in the aftermath, in the consequences of their policies, have social instability. That's what's going to happen. There's going to be more death by despair. There's going to be more desperation. There's going to be more, and we're going to be out here. And that's why they're going to have, it's only ICE though first, right? So ICE will have a bigger budget than the Department of, I got to look it up. Let me, before I say it, because it's
disgusting.
Yeah, it's more than all these other police agencies in the country combined. And ICE will be the Gestapo, the well-funded.
Right. Of course, they already are.
Of course.
And so
well,
I would, obviously, all of this money that they're taking away from Medicaid and SNAP, they're going to funnel into building more concentration camps in red states.
Yep.
But in the hottest red states, like Florida, Louisiana, Texas, the deserts in southern, like in New Mexico or Arizona, they're going to build more Auschwitzes. Maybe all of them can't have alligators, but they'll figure out a different way. But
there'll be some other abomination.
And the fact that they're threatening citizens with deportation, or they're threatening citizens with jail for simply speaking out. We're not committing a crime right now, but they might make it a crime to do what we're doing. What happens then? What happens then?
Oh, well, I just feel bad for my cats. Why worry about them?
Exactly.
And my guinea pig.
Who's going to take care of my cats? Who's going to take care of my cats? And what happened, because I feel like, I'm not that big of a deal. I don't think that I'm that big of a deal, but I have somewhat of a target on me because Donald Trump blocked me on Twitter 10 years ago, and MAGA people love to troll me, and I'm a single woman who lives in Portland, and I'm Jewish, and I'm political, and I'm a Democrat. So I'm like a walking MAGA bingo card, and maybe all it would take is one tweet of mine to, I don't know, Mike Johnson saying, hey, go fuck yourself before someone's knocking on my door. I don't know, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to stop doing it. I'm not going to stop doing it because I'm not afraid of Donald Trump. Paramount bending to Donald Trump and giving him $16 million because he didn't like the 60 Minutes interview. Go fuck yourself. They showed you saying your own words. When you're using his own words against him and he's still mad at you, like, I'm so sorry I reported on you accurately, except I'm not. So, fucking stop.
Oh, here's the numbers. Here's the numbers for ICE. ICE, 3.4 billion. The budget is set to grow from 3.4 billion to 45 billion. And this is surpassing the combined budgets of all federal prisons. It's also larger than the total budget for USAID, what it used to be, because now we don't do that shit because, Elon Musk and them, and Putin, wanted that. ICE detention budget freezes, hold on. The ICE detention budget increase is larger than cuts in education or for SNAP, and it is larger than cuts to the NIH. This is a choice here. The CDC cancer research and all of this combined. So they did away with USAID. They're cutting SNAP. They cut the NIH, CDC, cancer research, scientific research, combined all of those budgets to give it to the ICE Gestapo.
That's right.
We should be, it's absolutely terrifying and disgusting. And the fact that they're going to fucking...
That's why we got to be in the streets tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is why we call Republicans. And there are people like, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, it does.
It
actually does do stuff. And I'll tell you something else. Even if you think it's not going to do anything, are you going to be able to live with yourself if you know you could have done something and you didn't? How hard is it to make a phone call? You don't want to make a phone call. Every member of Congress has a website where you can submit a letter. You can write to them. There's a whole thing. You can do it like that. You can tweet them. I don't know, which is not effective. But again, you can't be afraid of what their reaction will be when you're speaking out for your country. Because what we're doing is how this country started in the first place. We are walking in the same footsteps of Washington and Hamilton and all of the founders. We are walking in their footsteps and following the example they set, because they certainly didn't have it easy when they were establishing this nation.
Of course not.
Once again, I'll just encourage if you've never listened to or watched Hamilton, it's now on Hulu. So, and obviously it takes a lot of artistic license, but it does tell the story of how hard it was and what the sacrifices were and how much we lost in the fight to gain.
I've never watched it myself, so.
Oh, I really encourage you to do it.
I like reading. I mean, well,
reading
whatever. It's fine.
Fundamental. Read The Sound of
I'm glad. No, I'm
sorry, I tired of. No, it's fine. But no, it is so worth your time. You might say, but I don't like musicals.
No, it's fine. It's good. I think it's good that. Well, I think it's good. It's a way for people to, if that's how you're going to learn American history, because you're certainly not learning it in school. So, in real school.
And specifically pay attention to the Battle of Yorktown, because that was the deciding battle of the Revolution, and the way it was orchestrated and how brilliantly they executed the plan. It's because they had a spy on the inside. That's right, Hercules Mulligan. So I almost have the whole thing memorized. Anyway, what I'm saying is, I'm feeling wicked patriotic because I'm terrified about what's going to happen, and I'm angry and motivated enough.
Yeah. Well, it just passed.
If I am still,
just got the notification. What? It just passed. It passed. Yep, we're done.
What the? Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god. By how many? By how many votes?
Let's see. I just got the notification. Let me see.
Fucking Christ.
Trump helped
16 million Americans will lose the health care they currently have. That's Bernie.
Yeah, the House.
Caroline Leavitt was just. Wait, I'm looking at my Twitter.
It says the 218 to 214. That's the vote.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Unreal.
And we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die.
Well, that's.
We're all gonna die.
This is what I've been saying for years, that propaganda works. It's the point. This is why we're here. And I mean, not just that we're here. I just want
to troll everybody celebrating it. How do
you don't know. A lot of them
celebrating your own demise.
Yeah, well, some of them
celebrating.
If you go on Twitter, you can't tell if you're interacting with a bot or or a normal person. So a lot of them are. This is great. I can tell what's real and what's not at this point.
I'll give you a little. You know what? Instead of writing it, because it would take me forever. I mean, I might still. Let me give the kids in the chat a little help here going forward, because if you're on Twitter, and I say stay because don't let Nazis run you out of anywhere. I'm not paying for Twitter, but I'm not letting Nazis run me out. First of all, anyone trolling you you should already be suspicious. So do not answer immediately. This is a situation where you need to verify, then trust, not trust, then verify. So now, obviously, if someone's calling themselves MAGA Patriot 7543543300021 with an eagle, that's not a real person. If they still have the gray default avatar, like, don't even bother, just block it. If it's an account where you always have to look at the bio, okay? Look at the bio, look at when the account was created. So many of these troll accounts have been created somewhere between 2010 and 2014, or they're brand fucking new. And another thing that's interesting is now there are like a whole new kind of troll that have the blue check mark, and they all have the exact same follower/following account. Like they all have 1.1k followers, no more, no less. They all kind of a lot of them have the Trump and his whittle fist up at the faux assassination as their banner, and they're mostly retweet. They mostly have no original tweets. And then if you go down their timeline, look at the dates of the tweets that they do have, because a lot of them are not from this week or from this day. They're from like 7 months ago. Or you can just be safe and block them all. And just focus your energy on known agitators like your Benny Johnsons and the cat turds if you want. Or you can even narrow it more and just focus your energy on the people who are in Congress. But what I will tell you is this: do not waste any of your time arguing with anyone who cannot impact legislation in any way. Like these MAGA influencers that we see, the DC Drano and the libs of TikTok. They have the ears of some of these members of Congress, right? They know them. They're in touch with them. They get information from them to feed to their followers. They're in cahoots. Fine. So somebody who's got 4 followers and only retweets like, I don't know, like the worst possible people. Don't. They're designed to waste your time and distract you from paying attention to the fuckery that's actually happening. So, and if you have any doubt, is this person real? I looked at their profile. I can't tell if they're real. Then stop there. Don't engage. Engagement is a choice, right? It's your choice to engage. It's a choice to spend time doing that. Just going into it, and even I know this, as someone who does it, I know I'm not changing anybody's mind. That's not even why I do it anymore. It's more now to put the information into the public space. So there's somebody there, and they've got 400,000 followers, and they're this person, and they've got multiple accounts on multiple platforms, and they're a MAGA influencer. I'm going to hit them with my Jeffrey Epstein video that I recorded a little bit of Katie Johnson's testimony, because that's real, and it doesn't matter what their response is, whether there is one or there's not, or more people troll me over it or not. What matters is that more people see it, right? It's like Helen Thomas, the great White House correspondent, said, just ask the question. Because sometimes just asking the question is enough for someone else to go, oh, I never considered that. I'm going to ask that question too. Or, oh, I didn't know about this Jeffrey Epstein testimony. I'm going to share this too. And when we have Eugene with us next, we're going to have Eugene Carroll join us before this month is out. She understands how language is manipulated to make someone look a certain way that they are not. And so I would say, there are ways to continue your social media activism while maintaining your mental health, and also making sure that you're accomplishing something with it. Anyway, that's my little bit of advice for everybody who is engaged in that.
Well, they've been doing that for years. Because they don't.
But we also know how. Right.
Well, it's getting harder to tell them. It really is, though, because they're getting more sophisticated. I used to be able to spot them straight away too, and there was a whole on Huffington Post when they used to have community not notes, they just comments that you could tell. There were accounts that were there to just give that assault against the working class, that seeming average Joe stamp of approval. That's what they're there to do. Right. To make it seem like their policies are actually popular, because Republicans don't have anything in reality to boast about. We know what this big ugly bill is. We know what it'll do. Everybody does. But yet, look at what they're saying. Like just now, Carolyn effing Leavitt, not just now, whatever. One of her tweets was, no tax on tips. No tax on overtime. No tax on Social Security. Anyone who votes against the one big beautiful bill is voting against this. It's a lie. It's a fucking lie. They can't tell the truth.
Everything from them is a lie.
Exactly. So I would have respect for them if they said, look, we don't fucking like democracy. We want to make the rich richer. We don't believe in America or the American promise as it was laid out in our founding documents. We want to go back to the system. The founders fought a revolution to escape. We think that's a stable system. The rich can keep getting richer, and you guys can await your rewards compliantly in heaven. But I would have respect for that. But they can't say that.
No,
instead,
they're never going to say that.
And instead, they say, we're doing this great thing for you while robbing you blind and making the American dream really impossible. And then we were talking about, when I mentioned, Paul in the Bible saying, "Oh, I'm a citizen. I can't be treated like this." And it's just imagine that, or not imagine, we don't have to imagine, we're living in it, that the income disparity and upward immobility in America is worse than it was in ancient Rome. So say that. Why don't I don't know. The Democrats have to get this out there. That's easy to understand, because most of the American people think they're middle class. They're not. If you can't miss one paycheck without having to go to a food bank, you're not middle class. And the majority of Americans can't handle a $500 emergency. So it's only going to get worse now.
Me and my tooth. Me and my tooth this week is a perfect example of how and I don't know if you know this, you and I are both Gen X, and Gen X is the generation that lives paycheck to paycheck the most. And we put the most of our income back into the economy. In fact, Gen X women put the highest percentage of our income back into the economy, because most of us live paycheck to paycheck and day to day. And I'm telling you right now, if this tooth thing didn't happen, I wouldn't be so worried about the fact that I have no money in the bank because I just paid rent. So it's crazy and terrifying and scary. And in one glimmer of hope, maybe, unfortunately, and it hurts me deeply to say this, could be Elon Musk, because Elon publicly said that any Republican voting for this bill, he will do everything he can, everything in his power, to make sure they don't get reelected. So in effect, if he's really means that means the Republicans just handed us a complete landslide in 2026.
I hope so.
That's if they don't fuck with our elections, because buried in the big beautiful bill are provisions for Trump to fuck with the elections. That's
really?
Buried in there somewhere. Oh yeah, there are provisions in there where he could move the date of the elections or something like that. Sometimes I see things and I immediately almost go brain blind. Like my brain cannot accept such a horrible. I'm gonna watch TV now. Like sometimes that happens to me where I'm like, too much self-care needs to happen now. But I think it'll be interesting, and I think we all better hold Elon to what he said.
Well, what we gotta do? He does what the fuck he wants to do. It's just, he's a king. That, he's an oligarch.
He's still teasing that he might drop more shit about Trump.
I'm sure he will, because Trump is still
for now.
Trump is still.
They're not gonna make up.
Yes, Trump is.
The two of them are not gonna make up.
And no, because Trump keeps, not accepting his apology. Let's put it that way, and saying, "Wouldn't it be terrible if Doge went after Elon? Wouldn't it be terrible?" So he's not accepting his heartfelt. I regret some of the things I said. so.
Heartfelt. He doesn't have a heart. I'm not. Hey, and by the way, I'm not saying Elon Musk is a good guy here. Fuck that.
No, I know.
But he is the lesser of the two evils. I hate Trump more than I hate Musk. It's not like he's my buddy.
Oh, I hate them both. I hate Musk a lot.
Well, I mean, so do I. But I've been hating Trump a lot longer. It's like it's built.
They're both. There's hate enough to go around for both.
Well, sure. Next month's my 10-year blockversary from Trump. And by the way, it is on a Thursday, so we should have some kind of party here on the Tara Show. But if Elon Musk means what he says, and he's going to put a ton of money into making sure no Republican who voted for the big bullshit bill can get reelected, I'm into it. Fuck yeah. I'll support that 100%. Right. You want to put all your money into making sure Democrats win? How would I say no to that? I don't care who you like, right? At this point, because what other options would we have?
Yeah,
because
I mean, they just fucked us. Yeah, and all of them.
No, go ahead.
No, all of the because I was going to say that. What can we do about this? I mean, we can't do much without power, of course. So if
Right,
we get,
right.
we won't be able to do anything until the fucking baboon is out of office, clearly.
Right.
But things can be mitigated. He won't sign anything. So we're stuck with this until we get rid of him. A lot of the
Right.
things in the bill aren't supposed to go into effect until 3 years from now. So that's what these devious fucks did, because they're, I mean, it's almost, I guess, if we get everything back, it might be okay in a way. I have to do some further research, but
Okay.
but because they're hoping that they will continue, which is very really concerning, because they're hoping that they'll keep power in spite of this, and if not, and they'll be able to, all of the horrible things, if not, will happen when there's a Democrat in office in the White House, or there's a Democratic Congress. So
Right.
so they can blame it on them, and they're hoping, because Americans have amnesia, of course, and
Not these,
yeah, and
not these
and the
Americans sitting here.
yeah, and the propaganda mills will work on that. They will continue to work on that overtime. But in order to, if Democrats, if and when I'll be optimistic, Democrats regain power, there are several legislative, of course, and executive tools that they can use to mitigate this disgusting abomination. 'Cause,
Right. They couldn't they basically tear up this bullshit
they could.
bill?
They could fully or partially repeal it, like the Republicans were going after Obamacare and now this has a soft so-called repeal of Obamacare that will kick millions off of their health care. So yeah, they can pass new legislation and that explicitly repeals it all, or specific sections, which I would hope they would just repeal it all.
Well, that's fun. So
Yeah.
here's me learning things as you say them, and I have questions. So, if a lot of these things can't be implemented for 3 years, first of all, I wonder how much MAGA knows about, if even MAGA knows that's a thing, because they think it's going to happen overnight, right? They think that they're going to be dancing on our graves tomorrow, and that's not the case. So, 3 years from now, do the math. That's after. That's like the same year we would be electing a new president.
So
Right? And so, thank you. I'm basically,
Wait,
so what
let's see.
Democrats need to be doing for the next 3 years is using this as a way to grow the Democratic Party. Like, here is your deadline. Like, this day, if we haven't seized power back by this day, America is then officially over. It's not going to die in 2025. It's going to die in 2028.
Yeah.
But we can also at least maybe put a great big stopgap measure in place next year, because the other thing the Republicans have done is handed Democrats beautiful things to run on in 2026.
Yeah, they have
given us, right? So what if we decided to reframe this moment not as something that's terrible for the country, but something that's a gift to the Democratic Party? Because what this does is allow us to take pieces of it, blow it up, and say, this is what Republicans tried to do to you while Democrats were trying to save you. Vote Democrat 2026.
Yeah, vote.
And then,
yeah.
Right? So, and again, I'm just making this up as we go along, but it's occurring to me that the best way to fight Republicans is using their own words against them every single time, from Trump on down. So, and it doesn't mean it's going to change them, but what it could do is change perceptions from outside. So if you're someone with in a position where, like we are, let's just reframe the way we talk about this. Big
Repeal and
bullshit bill.
and replace. Repeal and
Repeal
replace.
and replace. And if you steal their shit, because they don't like when we do that. Remember what we did with Dark Brandon?
Right.
We co-opted that. All of their dumb shit that we've co-opted, let's do it again. Repeal and replace the big bullshit bill, because in 2028 you won't be. I think that's something we should start pushing, and we need to get other people in on it.
Yeah,
and
because
instead
there's
of
so many
right?
constituents,
There's so many bad things.
So many areas of the population are going to be harmed by this. Everyone,
Right.
especially maggots. I hate
Right.
to tell you, maggots. They
It's going to hit them the hardest. Red states are dead states, my friends.
Right,
That's
right.
what
No,
I said during COVID.
all of the no tax on tips and all that goes in effect in 3 years. Let me see. Let's look. Several major provisions.
What goes in effect the soonest? What are we going to get hit
Well,
with
it's a
the
lot of it
soonest?
is go because you can't just. I guess you
can't just
can
change the
pull
country
out
overnight.
Yeah, so it takes a minute. But let's see. Several major provisions of the Big Ugly Bill are scheduled to take effect in 3 years. Below are some of the provisions. I just asked the AI to list them. Tips and overtime. That's going in effect in 3 years. State and local tax deduction, senior tax deduction, which will go to $6,000, and will also. Oh wait! This comes into effect now. The bill increases the senior deduction to $6,000, which also expires in 2028. Which it says everything, because anything that helps anyone who's not not Elon Musk, is on a timeline. It expires in 3 years. So this is who they are. They're so fucked up. Let's see. Medicare.
And you know what else?
Go ahead.
Some of the people who voted for this aren't going to be in Congress in 3 years.
No, they're not.
Aren't.
Yeah. The bill reduces the maximum provider tax maximum provider tax states can levy from 6% to 3.5% by 2020. By 2031, the timeline for these cuts is beginning after a delay. And they're being cut. So Medicare provider cuts, meaning that there will be doctors that will say, I can't afford to take Medicare anymore because they're cutting everything left and right, and I can't survive. And either they have a primary patient base of Medicare recipients, and that will close their practice. So, and this is part of what will, just decimate healthcare in the country, and it's so heartbreaking that the fucking maggots. Why does it always have to take them to actually feel the pain that they cause others, right? That they're so willing and eager to inflict on others until it comes home to roost. Then they see the light.
Home.
Yeah, student loan caps. Yeah, they're just going after everything. Mm-hmm.
There was some tweet from Ultra MAGA lady that kind of went viral on Twitter. And she was like, I was so proud to vote for Trump. I was so happy to vote against the lid, but I have cancer and now I won't be able to pay for my cancer treatment, so I regret my vote. And it's like, bitch, you found out.
My
I'm sorry.
violin.
I'm like, so it'll take you specifically personally getting cancer before you get mad.
Well, that's
or
it.
You losing your farm or your husband getting deported.
They're selfish.
Well, you know what? Well, sure they are. But I like this idea of embracing the fact that we got 3 years before they can do this shit to us.
Not
so
all
let's
of
make
it,
the
though.
most of it.
Right.
Not all of it. But the scary things that are going to take 3 years to implement because they're that terrible and scary that they can't just make it happen automatically. That's stuff for Democrats to run on. That's stuff for us to focus on in 2026.
But
that is
there's going to be pain now. Pain is now too. So there will be immediate reductions in Medicaid.
You take the pain, right? You take the pain from now, and then you take the pain that we're going to get, and you combine it all into the pain that's going to be a great political ad for Democrats in the midterms.
Yeah.
This is how they've already hurt you. This is how they're going to keep hurting you.
Yeah.
And they're not done hurting you.
That's what they should run on. Repeal and replace the Big Ugly Bill. Repeal and replace.
Let's get that out there. Let's make sure that's our assignment. That's everybody's assignment from this point forward. Repeal and replace the big bullshit bill. And Democrats can come up with something better, and they'll announce it in 2 weeks. Why don't we just say that?
Yeah. How about
everybody
come up with better? Anything's better. How about we don't kill people? How about that?
I like that. Let's all not kill people together, everybody, while we're supporting each other. And that is the Tara Show for today. We will be back on Tuesday, same Tara time, same Tara channel. Devlin and Dublin. Please sign up for our Substacks. Pick up my book, The Sound of Settling, a rock and roll love story at TyraDublinRocks.com. And whatever makes you feel better about being an American tomorrow, go out and do it. March, protest, make calls, write tweets. Do not ever let a Republican silence you into complicity. Ever, ever, ever. That's my message. USA. I love
All
you
right,
and I
guys.
appreciate you.
Happy birthday,
Thank you,
America.
Jim.
And
Thank you, Jim.
we have the Tara Buster tomorrow night, Friday night. Hang out. We're still having a show on the 4th, so check out
Rock and roll.
the Tara Buster show on. I put the link in the chat. YouTube.com/C4Channel/Tara Buster, and Jim is also the moderator there, so you'll be with friends. All right, my friends, stay safe.
Thanks, everybody.
See you soon.
Appreciate you.